Long day lady road. That's right. Determination. I've got a very determined guest today. He's been around a bit. Welcome, everybody. I'm Jason Bascom, co-founder, co-creator, blah, 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 blah. You know the drill. I mean, I say it every time before I stream. Do I have to say it? Do I have to say it every time, chat? I mean, in case I get new people, I guess. Co-founder of Unhinged Entertainment, co-creator of Frog Chief, creator of Absolute. There you go. All around nice guy. We have a great stream today. We have our amazing co-host. What's up, Angela?
Not much. How are you, Jason?
Oh, there you go. It took a second for you to get in there to answer.
I know.
I was like,
yeah.
You had me scared. We're later than normal today.
We are later than normal.
We are. I saw our good friend, our great friend, my personal friend. I hang out with him every other Thursday. Aaron Lepresti that's a lie. I never met him in my life. He's actually was still going when we went live. So, hopefully everybody comes over there afterwards or whatnot. But start making this. But yeah, we got a great guest today. He's a friend. I've known him for a while in the comic skate scene, in the indie comic scene, and it's an honor to have our good friend, Edwin here. What's going on, man?
Yeah, what's going on, guys? Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, it's good to finally have you on, man. I'm gonna share this to Facebook real quick because I'm a stupid idiot and forgot to do it before we went live. All right, there we go. I don't stream to Facebook all the time. I dual stream. I go to YouTube, Twitch, and then usually and maybe Twitter sometimes. But Facebook is like my family and friends, and I don't know if they get this whole thing, and some of them don't back comics, but you never know. So whenever I do these, though, I share these to Facebook because we have new creators on. We have new people trying to get books out and comics, and just want to do their thing. Man, we go back a while. We've known each other for a few years now in the comic skate scene, in the indie comic scene.
It's been a minute. It's been a lot of streams together, all that fun stuff.
Yeah, man. Shared some of the same blood. Yeah, but it's been a ride, man. You've had, this is your third campaign?
Fourth.
I think? Fourth. You're a monster, dude. You're a beast. Nice. Awesome. Yeah, and you like I said, we've been around here for a while. Were you in it longer than me, though? Were you hanging out with Comic Skate or in the scene or watching it beforehand? I was in that 2019 tail end. 2020 is when we...
I mean, I started right when Ethan launched his YouTube channel. So whenever that was, literally his first stream, I was there. So
that was before even Comic Skate.
Yeah, so it was it was back then. Literally, it'd be 12 of us in his live chat, and he could name us all. He'd be like, "Hey, so and so, hey, so and so." Yeah, that didn't last long. That thing just blew up. So
no, I mean, he's a comic professional. You know what I mean? It's the same with Frega. When we first started hanging out there, it was the same. It was 12, 13 people. We all knew each other. We'd go on the streams, and then it, like you said, didn't last long. His channel blew up after a while.
Channels blew up, man. I remember Shane Davis. He used to stream around midnight and stuff.
Yeah,
and so I would be one of a few people there just telling him hi and stuff. And the next thing you know, he's got hundreds of people in the chat. It's craziness.
Yeah, he blew up. I like Shane, man. He's a fun dude. He's a character. I'll give him that for sure. So yeah, and that's dope, man. I like. What's that? What'd you say, Angela?
Just don't send him any gifts.
Well, I mean, as long as it's exercise equipment, you're okay.
Oh my goodness, am I freezing?
No, you're not freezing. You're just delayed or something. Your responses are slow in the uptake. Well, before we get started, we got a chat. Angela, who's in the chat? Wow. Are you on a delay? Are you watching on YouTube? What is happening right now? All right, I'll do it myself. Why do I have a co-host? I don't know. We got 80s Made in the chat. What's going on, 80s Made? Good to see you, my friend. Cha-cha-cha. We got Citizen Ronan. Good to see you, friend. Hail, hail. Like and share, everybody. Like and share. We got Rick Saylor. My good friend Rick Saylor. Rick? Good to see you. Met Rick in person a couple times. It's nice to hang out with Rick. We got, looks like Jeremy. I should probably close my window. It's We got Jeremy Burns. What's going on? It's Memorial Day,
Oh, yeah.
and people set off fireworks to celebrate.
Yeah.
Like you realize this is in memoriam of those who like fell. Like tomorrow's Memorial Day, we remember the people who fell in battle and the vets and stuff. It's not a happy occasion.
Sometimes people just need an excuse to launch some fireworks.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy, and it's ridiculous because it'll go from like 3 weeks before this till I don't know August.
Mm-hmm.
That's ridiculous, dude.
Yeah.
It's like, and of course, it all started right whenever we went live. There was nothing happening, man.
No, they're like, oh, Jason's live streaming now. I got something for him. I got something for him. Let's set off 50,000 fireworks.
We're going to interrupt that stream. Maybe that's why Angela was not really there. We got Hen in the chat. How's it going? Good to see you. If I missed you, I apologize. My eyeballs left. And Fanta, XOXO. I got Fanta. Yeah, dude, so there's Angela up here. Oh, she's just saying hi. So, what, like, you hung out, you were hanging out, watching Ethan and stuff, but what got you into comics? Obviously, it wasn't Ethan. What got you, like, as a kid? Like, what were your, like, core foundations? What were something that you looked into and looked up to that you first discovered, like, comics or something?
I mean, my gateways were Spider-Man and X-Men. Those were really the first two that really hooked me. Early, like, 1991-ish. Going to the spinner rack at this, like, grocery store / liquor store place with my mom and just kind of being there, just nosing around, and I saw this spinner thing, and then I didn't know anything, but I knew Spider-Man. Like I've seen Spider-Man, so I knew who he was. So I grabbed it, bought it, read it, loved it.
Do you remember what issue?
The name always escapes me. I think it's something like Superior Foes or Deadly Foes of Spider-Man.
Okay.
It was actually issue 4 of a 4-issue miniseries.
you got the tail end of the arc, dude.
I have no idea what's going on. I don't know any of these characters. I know whether they're trying to kill Spider-Man. I don't know anything, but it was still fun.
Great way to hook you, though. You're like, I got to read what led to this.
Yeah, so I'm trying to figure out, like, all right, so they're bad guys, and they all want to beat up Spider-Man. That makes sense. Why not? Let's go with it.
Why not? Yeah.
And then the one that really got me was, I believe it's Uncanny X-Men 281. I always forget the number. I think it's 281 or 283. It's basically Whilce Portacio, and it has Storm and Bishop facing off. And that just, nice. I was like, who are these two? And then I grabbed it, and I just like, that was the one that really hooked into my veins, man. Like, I got anything X after that. If I had an X anywhere on the cover, I got it just because of that. It's just
do you still have all your original books? Like,
oh, no. I lost them in a fire in like 2001.
Oh, that hurts,
I lost
man.
all my, I ended up getting a lot of like especially the X-Men run. I got most of that back, all the Whilce Portacio, like a lot of the early 90s have a lot of those back. Dude, but yeah, like
so good. That sucks, man. I mean, I've kind of been like throughout the years as we go, obviously, like that's tragic. That's a fire. But whenever like, you're like, yeah, I sold that one or I got rid of this long box, right? There's been throughout the years I've done the same, like where I've gotten rid of a long box here, like sold some books there, and I got a decent collection. But it would be even better if I just shut my mouth, kept my books, you know what I mean? It would be a great collection. And hey, it happens, but at least you're able to get it back. And this is what I've been saying. I'm like, I'm at least picking up older books now that I can afford that I maybe lost or even sold or never even had. So are you in the same? Are you like kind of picking up those older issues again?
Yeah, like like that place had a good selection, but they were kind of spotty as far as issues go. Sometimes they'd miss like one or two, and then I'd have to like catch up. So over the years, I kind of gone back and kind of, was able to read like the full stories and stuff and any issues I missed. So it was fun. It's like reading it for the first time again because you finally get like that missing issue 7 that I never had. I get back and I can read all of them again. So 1 through 10 and stuff. So it's fun.
Nice. Yeah. So you officially were first introduced. Like, how old were you? Do you know? Like 10?
Yeah, somewhere around there. 10.
Yeah.
9, 10, somewhere around there.
And what's going on, man? That's pretty cool. And so that bit your bug. Now because you're mainly the writer on your books, right? You don't do storyboards or anything in that regard.
No.
So
I wanted to be an artist when I grew up, but it just wasn't meant to be.
Nice. Well, I mean, hey, sometimes like we got Alex in the chat. What's going on, man? I'm trying to do the 18 different things at the same time. So yeah, but I mean, like my brother was a we were young and he got the art bug. My other brother had the writing bug whenever they were reading and stuff. So I kind of looked up to both of those guys. Pardon me. So I was like, I want to really draw them, but I didn't have like the innate inherited skill set. Like I had to develop it and keep after it. So, but even still, some people just like they like, yeah, it's just not working for me. So you really were attracted to the writing part of everything then? Were you, or was it like an instant thing, or were you just like, I wanted to be an artist, but it's not really catching, but I really love comics so much. I want to be involved. Was that mainly how it went?
A little bit. I mean, the idea since I was young, like I said, I didn't really have skill to draw, but I would create kind of my own characters and stuff, and I would write little kind of outlines of like what kind of storylines would happen. So I was always, even when I was young, like I always had like a creativity about me. Like I said, I really wanted to just see these cool heroes and tell their stories. I always thought like the artist wrote the book also. So that's probably why, like I didn't really
Yeah,
realize how it worked. So, I always thought like the artist was the one who did it, most of it and stuff. So that's probably why like I had that mindset. I just had the idea of I just want to draw and tell these cool stories with these awesome heroes. So
do you remember like some of your first like concept characters, like original ideas, like when you were a kid? Did I freeze? Did Edwin freeze? I really hope I didn't dip out. That would really suck. This is the thing. You never know who.
a
Oh, there
little
you
bit.
are. You're back. You're back. Okay. I don't know if I froze or if you froze.
I think we both froze there for a second.
Nice. All right. So do you
You
remember
know?
back to the show? So yeah,
Yeah.
do you remember some of your old
Yeah, a
characters
little
maybe?
bit. I had this character Inferno. He was like a Human Torch type of hero. He was kind of the main guy. Had like a couple other people. They were like their own kind of like it was kind of like a little New Warriors kind of ish.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I wrote little stories. I always remember like Inferno. I always thought it was like, yeah, we'd love to do something with like a fire guy. I thought that was always like a cool power when I was young.
I do too, man. I do like fire powers, and I kind of had a character that had like both fire and ice, and it was kind of like my brother kind of thought of it might be cool, and so we kind of had this character. But yeah, fire powers are dope. And funny thing is, New Warriors, their very first cameo was my first comic book. So like it
Oh,
was a Thor comic, so it's pretty funny. New Warriors kind of but they were big when we were kids. Like the New
yeah.
Warriors when
Oh,
they
New
were
Warriors are
cool too,
great.
though.
Yeah, they were
They were
so
great,
awesome.
dude. Yeah, not this New Warriors garbage that they tried to
No,
launch.
get that out of here. Get that out
Yeah,
of here.
yeah, that was dude. That was so bad. It's trash. So then these comic stories, like you were like, okay, cool. Like was so were you, like you said, you thought the artist was a writer, really, and honestly, like we all probably thought in the same aspect, like kind of one guy does everything or a couple guys.
Mhm.
And it's not till like even growing up, I'm like, yeah, there's other inkers and stuff. I thought it was like one guy did all the
Yeah.
inking.
Hmm.
So then were you then like learning? Oh, wow, there's writers. Oh, Chris Claremont. He's kind of like. Were you focused on like them more then as you got older? And were you like getting into like books? Like, what were some of your favorite books? Like book
Yeah, a
books.
little bit. Probably the first writer I actually really recognized uh, was probably like Scab Lobdell.
Hmm.
Because I really loved like I said when he took over X-Men. That's when I kind of noticed the names changing on like as far as the credits. So eventually you'd be like, oh wait a minute, it's like somebody new, and you could tell with like some of the stories that the tones were different and stuff. So that's when I kind of like started. Okay, this even like the art's different. Why is that? All
Right,
these little things started as I'm reading more comics, and to me one of my books that I love to this day is Darkhawk. I mean,
dude. I love
discovering
Darkhawk.
Darkhawk was just like because you could start with like a number one, and that people don't understand that to be able to like Spider-Man had like 300 issues.
Yeah.
When you start at number one with this new character, you just feel like that's my character, that's my homie right there.
Right, and starting at number one as in an origination of the character, not just
Mhm.
a numbering system like
Yeah,
they're
no,
doing the gimmick they do now.
hmm
It's like, because yeah, Spider-Man number one. It's like,
hmm
no, it's not because there's so many back issues. It's crazy. When you have Darkhawk number one, this is a new character, a whole new, like, this is yours.
yeah,
Like, it's a different feeling.
yeah. And watching him like interact with Spider-Man and Captain America, and Punisher and all these. Like,
Punisher.
it just made the Marvel universe so much bigger to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a book that I think like the first 25 issues are great. After that, it kind of falls off, but it was so much fun. It's still like one of those books that I hold dear to my heart, along with like obviously X-Men, Spider-Man, and then like a couple years later, I ended up discovering like DC. Like I knew like Superman and Batman and stuff, but then I
Everyone
discovered
does.
Green
Yeah.
Lantern, Flash, and then I started getting into that. And then now the 90s from about like 90 to like 98, 99, it was like
Of course,
9, 10
Shelby.
years. That was just the whole discovery, man. Like it was just different.
Yeah, DC. We were always more Marvel guys. Like we really were. I mean, and like you said, obviously there's Batman and stuff like. And Batman was like the one DC character we would gravitate towards, but still not as much, you know. And like Superman, I just not a Superman dude. You know, I couldn't get into it. I no matter what age I was, I liked the Christopher Reeve Superman. That was fun, but this all powerful entity, because to me that's pretty much all he was just this all powerful thing. I just couldn't jive with it. It just wasn't my thing. I couldn't get into it. But Batman is cool. Like, you know, he's this cool looking. As a kid, you see this dude, you know, in this bat suit. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Going around kicking people and kung fu. You're like, this is cool. Pardon me, solving crimes and stuff like that. That's fun, and he doesn't have any powers, so you're like, oh, that's really dope. I mean, yeah, he's a billionaire, but you know, hey. So you were more into like the superhero ish type stuff, like you said, X-Men and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So you were more into the hero stuff, like you like superpowers and fun stuff like
Yeah,
that.
definitely, man. Like to me, the X-Men just were so cool because they were also different and had all these different unique powers. And like their costumes really were bright and just amazing. So yeah, like X-Men stuff like that. I said Darkhawk. Spider Man's always had a special place in my heart. I loved his relationship with Mary Jane. It's the first time I really noticed like, all right, they're like a couple. They're like in love, like, and seeing that in a comic always like that's how I recognize those two characters. I don't recognize any other version. Like to me, I
Yeah,
recognize Peter and MJ together in love. That's Spider Man to me.
and I can respect them trying to do different things or developing their story here and there or whatnot. But you kind of like you said, it's Peter and Mary Jane. Like it just is. Like Gwen Stacy has to die. It just is.
Mhm.
These key elements make Spider-Man, make Peter Parker. They make this character,
Yeah.
and once you start totally changing those things, you lose a little bit of what the character, what his essence is, what makes him. It just falls apart. That's like having Bruce Wayne all of a sudden find out his mom's still alive. It's like if you throw those like Peter and Mary Jane and you totally get rid of Mary Jane, it throws the whole thing off. You can't
Mhm.
really do it. Like you could have them argue, maybe split up for a little bit. Oh no, what am I gonna do? Stuff like that, whatever. But like those that's how they are. They identify as those things. That's the way Marvel set it up. They don't really age, but they kind of do.
Yeah.
So they kind of have that weird dynamic where you kind of have to get those characters and make them together. And lately they've been messing things up. But that's the big two. You know, what can you do? And I mean we bash the big two a lot, but there are some great creators over there still, some great artists and good writers. It's just they're needles in haystacks, and
Yeah.
but that's why we're doing what we do here. And what made you like then? Hey, I like at what age or what point were you like, hey, I can make my own book. You know, I can do this.
Oh, that wasn't until Comicsgate really leaped off the page. I started meeting all these different creators, people like Joe Ball, Sim, the Diaz brothers. All these people were making their own comics. There was nothing stopping them from telling the stories that they wanted to do. And like I said, I learned a lot from all those guys. Passion for drawing, just kind of ended up just like a sponge, just asking them questions and kind of seeing how they put their stuff together. And it was super motivating. That kind of inspired me to kind of start coming up with the kind of story that I wanted to tell, which is what led to the first volume of the Ace. Like I said, it's very much inspired by books like Dark Hawk, Sleepwalker, Death
Yeah.
Set
Oh,
2.
and I
I
can
want to
see it.
create
Yeah.
a young guy who's discovering his powers, the cool armor, these weird different aliens. That's like a lot of the Green Lantern influence is the fact that he goes into space, he meets all these kind of humanoid shark alien guys. All these kind of influences just all came together in this one idea. And like I said, I worked on that for like a year and a half before anybody else saw a
Nice.
light of it. So I put it through the guys, and Anybody who knows guys like Passion, just because we're friends doesn't mean he's gonna let go easy. If he doesn't like it, he doesn't think it's good. So, and so
But
I had a lot of help from a lot of guys.
yeah, but that's what you want. You don't want somebody to just be a yes. You don't want a yes man. Like if you show it to somebody that is your friend, you want them to be a friend and be like, "Oh, dude, it's good. I like this, but you might want to do this." Like
Hmm.
they'll give you a true critique, even if they don't even give you like a softened blow. If they're like, "Dude, this is garbage. What are you doing?" Like you want that because that'll only help you grow. It'll only improve things. It'll only make the books better, and bouncing ideas off of people or even just showing them a finished product. Dude, Passion's great. He's not really around here anymore, but he is on TikTok, and you can still hit him up. Passion's an awesome guy. And he's still doing his thing. He's still doing comics, still doing his stuff. And we love Passion for drawing. He's a wonderful human being. And what a great person to get advice from, too, by the way. But yeah, and that's what you want, though. You want to do that. You don't want to just like develop your idea and put it out because you could have a lot of errors or a lot of things that you could have missed the mark on. And so you were developing it long before you even launched the pre-launch, which is
Yeah,
good.
yeah. I took my time with it, make sure that it felt right. That I had double and triple checked everything, and had gotten feedback from tons of people, and they all like what I was doing, and so it was finally ready to get to see the light. And so yeah, that's how it started.
And now, as you were growing up, you're reading these characters. You're like, oh, I want to like maybe write something or creating something. Is that kind of how you got? Because I'm not into it as much at all anymore. But is that what got you into the wrestling thing? Because you still love wrestling, right?
Oh yeah, like wrestling was the first thing that I remember as a kid. I had my dad when I was in Puerto Rico. He got a tape of WrestleMania 3, and I
Oh
remember
wow,
seeing like Hulk Hogan slamming Andre on my little TV with the VCR we just
nice
gotten, and it just shook my world, man. So that was like 6, 7 when I first discovered that.
Kevlar.
We
Nice
gotta have a
man.
lot of similarities. The over the top characters, the good versus evil, all that kind of stuff. You get to see it in kind of real life, which is comics is on the page, and wrestling kind of leaps out of the page. So they definitely have a lot of similarities.
Yeah, I went to. We all went to one wrestling match, and it was Tatanka was still around
Oh wow.
whenever we went. Yeah, it was wild, dude. You definitely get into it, and like I was obviously really young, so I was still into wrestling as a kid. It's just like I was still into it in my maybe late teens, early 20s, still kind of into it. I just like eventually just it just fell by the wayside. But you're right, it is like living comics. Like these are characters that they came up with. They may not have superpowers, but they kind of do. These are superhuman
Yeah,
type characters that they've developed and create, like the Undertaker. I mean, come on, he's
yeah.
a zombie. He's a zombie. Like, that's crazy, dude. Like, so yeah, you're not wrong in the fact that these are kind of like living, walking comic books with their own story arcs, their own dramas, and you get into it. They're characters, and it's something that as a kid you're kind of early introduced to it too, especially as a young boy. Pardon me, because these are macho things. These are what like son. This is what men do. Men, this is war. This is what this is.
Yeah, man. I mean, when Macho Man and Hulk Hogan are battling over Miss Elizabeth, I mean, that's everything, man. That's every soap opera. That's every movie,
Yeah, dude.
every TV show.
That's a
That's it, man.
point.
And these guys are bigger than life, steroids and baby
Yeah, man.
oil and super
And that's
just
the other thing.
ridiculous.
Like, yeah, they're
Yeah,
jacked. So they're like they're the physical living embodiment of peak male fitness and masculinity. And you're like, I want to be that. I want to look like that. That's cool. Eventually, then you find out, oh, I got to actually work out and
yeah,
like hit the gym for 6 hours a day every day, and maybe take a couple steroids, but and nothing wrong with a little human growth hormone if done properly. But yeah, it's fun stuff though. It's engaging and entertaining, and you can actually use that influence in what we do. Like I mean, it's an amalgamation, comics and wrestling. To me, it's just like music, art. It's all art. Like
yeah.
wrestling is an art form. It's almost like a ballet. I mean, it's very physical, very demanding. A lot of choreography, but sometimes they go off script, and you can get killed in the ring.
Mhm.
Actually, things go wrong. So it's an art form. Like these are all forms of art, and which shows how much you love it with how well it's produced. Like I said, you can get killed in the ring, so you really got to study it. You got to learn from it. You got to know it. Comics, you got in writing comics, you got to know your structures. You got to know your beats. You got to grow and learn. You got to look at other people, and it's not something you become a billionaire out of. You can, like, look at Ethan, he's doing great. Look at Shane, they're doing great. They're not billionaires, but these are very successful creators, Malin, that are doing the indie comic scene and the crowdfunding. Brian Pulido, I mean, just they studied the art form, they studied what happened, and they love it so much that they're willing to take a risk and put their stuff out there because it is a risk. Now, you guys, people like, me and, you're out there and stuff like that. We want this to be that. We want it to get to that. But it's a slow trudge. And we're willing to sacrifice it. We will work full-time, plus we work full-time. So we have 2 full-time jobs with comics and working, usually is the case. It's a sacrifice. And it's something that you have to love to do. And if you don't love it, it shows. And you love what you do because you have some great products out there, and you can tell your heart's in it. So that's what I like to have on. I like to have on people who are genuine. They you can tell they love what they're doing.
Yeah, man. Like these books are super fun. Like writing the Ace. Like I'm getting ready to launch Volume 3 in September, and it's just coming up with these kind of crazy stories of different aliens, and Ace goes into space and all this kind of stuff. It's just like, this is also 13-year-old me wanted, man. It's kind of like, it's the book 13-year-old me would like read, I would go back to that, and then like Raid is something completely different on the other hand, it's a lot more, it's a different kind of storytelling. It's, so I like the difference, I don't just want to do the same kind of book.
Yo, Henry Beanimus, what's going on, man?
Thank you.
But see, that's what's great is that you have more than one idea, and there's nothing wrong with having one idea. It's awesome if you have one idea. Like, look at Irene. She has more than one idea, but Fiendish is her baby. Like, that's what she's super focused on. It's admirable. I mean, I mainly had the Absolute thing, but now Frog G came from nowhere, and so we have the 2 IPs. But you can do more than one thing. Irene can do more than one thing. Shane can do. We can all do these different characters, and we're putting them out there and putting out these different. Like this is a total spin, like total 180 from what the Ace is, and down to even the artwork. Like it's just a total flip, and it shows your diversity. Your diversity. We're diverse people here, but it shows your level of expertise in what you can do, because you're not just you just don't write one thing. You could be like, hey, I could also write this. And what made you then get into like wanting to write a different type of a story, because this is a total flip from the Ace?
Yeah, like I just I had this I've been wanting, one of my dreams as a kid, aside from being like an artist and all that, is I did want to get published by a comic book company. That was like a little bucket list item. And, obviously what's going on at the big 2, things are different than they were in the 90s. 90s had open submissions and stuff. You could basically go to like a con and pitch ideas and stuff and get hired. But, I discovered Alterna through CG, and, they have their open submissions. And, one day I was just, got inspired, with a little idea of like these Vikings, that get caught up in a storm and wash up on an island, and it's got like basically a little mystery at the end. It's basically like a little bit like an M. Night movie, but doing it in a little short story style. So nice. I basically, I reached out to Avery to see if he wanted to do it. I found him through Phil Diaz, and he was down for it. And so we got it all done, called SK to letter it, and then I pitched it to Alterna, put it through a submission, and then I heard back a couple months later from Pete. He said he was down with it. So nice. The first 7 pages it came out on a Wednesday, number 18.
Oh, nice, dude.
And, the awesome thing about that is not only do I get like that cover credit, of an established comic book company, but it had a Kenneth Rocafort cover. So, all the boxes are being checked off in that one. I'm like, I'm good.
Now, like as a kid, like, would you imagine one day you're gonna have like you're gonna have all these things happening? Like you're gonna be working with professional creators and getting published under a professional publishing house company. And we're all, our little indie things are professional, but this is an actually like in like it's alternate comics, like it's known. Like, did you ever think as a kid one day, like you said one day, but did you ever think it was like I'm gonna actually be doing these things? Like,
So that was the hope, like I said, when I
it's
was,
the hope, yeah,
it's the hope, but you never know how life is, things happen. But
yeah.
yeah, it was awesome, like I said, and then, it was like a year passed and I got it re-inspired to like, because I got some good feedback from it and stuff. And then I was like, you know what? Like the second half came to me, like that second part that's in book 2, it just came to me one night. I literally just woke up and I was like inspired and I started writing and I just thought like, okay, now we're taking it to the next level. So I
No,
hit up Avery again and kind of finished off the second half of it.
nice. Now, when you write, do you have music going? Like, what is your process?
Oh no, I need silence. I
Oh,
can't
you're a
hear
dead silence
anything.
guy.
I cannot hear anything. Like anything moves, I'm just like, no. I just need everybody. Usually late at night, it's usually just the dark, and I'm just like on my phone, and I just kind of like the idea starts flowing, and then it all just comes out, and I can fix it later, but I just need to get every idea I have on the page,
Do you
and
write
then
it on your phone?
I do
That's
that's all I do,
crazy, man. That's
everything.
pretty
Yeah,
cool.
like I have my Chromebook and stuff, but I for some reason I just can't do that anymore. It reminds me too much of school. Like
I can
being
see
back to school
that.
writing reports and stuff. You're just like, no, I don't want to do that. So like I said, usually
Wow.
late at night, I'll grab my phone and I'll just start like typing like a madman, and then everything comes out. I shut off the phone, wake up the next day, and I start going through it. I'll be like, all right, this works, this sucks, take that out, and then I start like editing it, and that's the process until like it's been pounded into the sand, and then I reach out to my artist and kind of get it going. But yeah, it's a long process. It's not just like one take; it's multiple until I feel everything's right. So because I don't want to put out anything that I don't feel strongly about. So
Right.
that's
And
kind of
by the
how it
way,
goes.
everybody, link for Raid of the White Leopard is pinned to the top of the chat as well as in the description below. So go ahead and click that. Check it out if you want to do it ahead of time before we get to it. What's Henry Beam is saying here, Angela?
I can barely text on my phone.
Yeah, that's what
So
I was gonna say. I'm like, that's great. Like, I like it though because no matter where you are, if an idea hits you,
Yeah,
at least you can be like, yeah, I can put it in. Like,
just
you know what I
start like
mean?
even if it's just sometimes I'll have like one page. I'll just one page, but it gets saved, and then I can always go back to it and be like, all right, now I have the second. Now I have page 3, 4, and 5, and I can just start going down with it. And usually, once it starts flowing, like I said, I'm pretty good. Like I can bash out a whole issue, and then it's just about kind of tightening it. Working
Right.
on you
The
just kind of
drafts
like
and
revisions and stuff, and be like, all right, this is too repetitive. This is, and then I just tighten it, and just kind of that's how the process has been over the last couple of years.
no. What before I get to my question, what's Alex saying?
just Alex Verb. He's dropping links. So thanks, Alex.
Oh, thank you, Alex. Appreciate
Yeah,
that.
thanks, Alex.
So whenever you're writing, like you hit this stuff up, and then now do you, as far as like your artists go, like do you shoot it to your artist, and if he's like, hey, I love this dude, but what if we did this? How much input does he have on spinning things? Like, I mean, obviously maybe he could change a panel camera angle, but does he have any influence on like the actual story, the plot line?
No, I like my kind of story how it is. It's gone through all the revisions. What I do is I give them basically leeway on how to tell pages, even though I write everything out. The main idea is just to get the what the page is, like the essence of the page. You can play around with that. You can play around with character designs. You can do all that kind of stuff. Like as long as you get from A to Z, the in the middle stuff once it's tight and stuff, and I would always go back and do dialogue. Dialogue's always the last thing that I go over.
Hmm.
Before I send it to my letterer, which is the last step before kind of creating the print file. So like we kind of like to let, and the cool thing about everybody who I've worked with has always just added cool stuff to the book. Like Canales, he's the guy who came up with the idea of Akula having robot legs.
That's cool.
Originally, Kula just had like kind of humanoid legs. That's how like he was originally envisioned.
Hmm.
And Canales got inspired. He's like, "Hey, what do you think of these like metallic legs and stuff?" And I loved it. Like to me, it gave life to Akula. Like when I
Nice.
saw that version of him, I finally began to understand the character, and I've written him different ever since that. and that's all thanks to like Canales. He kind of changed up what the character originally was. He was basically like a Lobo-ish kind of character.
Mhm.
But you still see a little bit of that, but it gave him like a different kind of feel once he was part like part robot, I guess you'd say, and it gave the character more life, and he became a lot more fun to write.
What's up, Bar? Good to see you, my friend. By the way, everybody, like and subscribe, share, click the links. By the way, Ray to the White. Also, his Twitter's in the link below. Yeah, that's cool. It's nice that you give the artist like a little bit of free reign, a little bit of leeway, and like you, because it is your story. Like these are your stories. It's not like you're like co-own, like they're co-owning these things. This is your
Yeah, man.
story, and you're putting
Yeah,
it
man.
out there. Yeah. So I mean, but as a writer, it's nice. As an artist, it's nice to hear that a writer is like giving them a little bit of that free, because there's some writers that like this is how it is. I won't change my crap. Like don't alter the panel, do what I say, and that's fine. They have a vision. Like I get it. And mind you, I'm being very crass in the way these people. They probably say it nicer, but they have a vision and how it goes, and I respect that too. But it's just nice to let people, because you're an artist. You're an artist. Like you're an artist with words. Like you, that's how you paint your pictures. So letting them paint their pictures their way, it just makes for a more cohesive flow of a story, and in this it is stories that we're trying to create. Like yes, we're all artists, but we're trying to tell stories. We just want to bring back those fun days of adventure and excitement. And what kind of stories are you into mainly? There goes Angela again. Like I know it's just superhero stuff, but do you also like myths and legends, like because this is a Viking type book. So do you like Norse stuff? Do you like Egyptian mythologies? Like, are you into that
Oh
kind of
yeah,
thing?
I love me some Viking stuff like 13th Warriors, one
Oh,
of my
13 Warriors,
all-time
dope.
favorite movies. It is.
Yeah,
I rewatch it so many times. Like there was a point
nice.
I watched it so much I could quote the whole thing. Like I just I'm super into it. Like I still love it. It's I think it's so underrated. I think the first couple like 2 3 seasons of the Vikings TV series I thought was
Really good.
fantastic.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
yeah, like
No,
it
yeah.
just like that. Egypt. I'm
What's up,
actually one
Mike
of these
McMahon?
guys who's like obsessed with like ancient Egypt, and if when the pyramids are created, all that kind of stuff. So like that's definitely one of my passions. I've watched so many Graham Hancock and
Great
Randall
man.
Costner
Yeah,
videos.
you're great.
There's
Yeah,
like
they're
my
awesome, man.
insight on Chugging X. Like all you see on my subscriptions, you're like, oh, this guy must love the Egypt because that's all I end up watching. Just like watching like these interviews and their theories about stuff. I love all that stuff, man. So yeah.
Yeah, stuff's fascinating to me. But those are stories of legend from old. Like you know what I mean? Even like the hieroglyphs and stuff. Those are like just a scroll of a comic book on a tablet or something. It's crazy because it's story in art form. It's been done since the dawn of
What
time.
up, Mike?
Yeah, we got Mike McMahon in the chat, man. Yeah, what's going on, man? Yeah, Angela's trying to do her best here, and I appreciate it. But yeah, and that's kind of like it's something that'll never get lost. Like I know we have movies and stuff like that, but there's something about like granted, there's no budget for us. I mean, the budget lies in hey, can we pay our artists? But I mean, as far as content goes, like we it's limitless. We can have space adventures and like go through a sun if we want and like have reasons why. We don't have a budget for these things, whereas film does. But it's stories, and there's something about a story told in still frame and just reading it along with it to see what another person, how their vision looks. And like books are cool because you can picture it yourself, but to see how another person see it through their own lens, it's fascinating. So when you get these great stories of like space adventures and then Vikings and heroics, and it's just it's fun, and it's like music to me. I love music, and people know I have a very taste and stuff. I'm very picky, but I love everything from classical to metal, to hard metal, death metal. Maybe not death metal that much, but anyway, I love the variety. So like I said, with you have the Ace, and then you flipped it on its head, and then you got Vikings. Like awesome, man. Like I love a variety of things. It helps the mind grow. It's like you said with this, it's Vikings. So you could even be like, oh, this is cool. I want to know more about Vikings, and somebody could actually go learn about Vikings because of this book. Awesome
Yeah,
stuff.
like it's also it helps recharge the batteries, because as much as I love Ace and stuff, like I get so into it. You spend all this time with these characters, with these stories, and then you just want like, all right, let me take a little break. Like we've done space, we've done wormholes, we've done all this cool stuff. Let's take it back, to like these Vikings on a boat. You can't get more
Yeah, dude.
different than that. And then like that inspires me though. So when I come back for Ace, I'm recharged.
Yeah, and that's exactly a great point. And that's something that I even say, like, as an artist, I usually do like cool down drawings, but I do something I to take a break from drawing. I draw, so it's nice to recharge those batteries, and like, or even just to tell a new story or write a poem or something. Like, it's nice to like get away from a thing, to do the same thing, but it's a different thing. Like, it's hard to explain. I think you have to be an artist in some way to really get it. Like, you kind of do. So let's get to it. Let's get to it, man. Let's roll let's roll that trailer. I like the fact that this trailer is short and to the point. It
Yeah,
makes me
like
happy.
for
I like
Ace, I love the trailers, but after a while, I'm just like 2.5 minutes. It's just like it takes forever. Like I just like even I get tired of it. So I wanted to do something on the opposite end of that. Just a
Yeah,
little short
this
30-second one, and let's go.
hey, this whole campaign's flipped on its side, and I love it from your usual stuff. So, all right, let's check it out.
Raid of the White Leopard, Book 1, is the story of a band of Vikings that get caught up in a storm and wash up on a mysterious island. Written by Edwin Acevedo, the writer of The Ace, with art by Avery Butterworth from The Lost Pages. Back it today on fundmycomic.com.
I cut that end to the frame, so that there's not much to it. Like, I like it, It's like, oh, it's over. Okay, nice. Like I said, straight and to the point. It lets me know what the book is about. It shows some cool artwork. That's what I like. I like those kind of trailers because you've been around the scene. You've done some campaigning. You've heard the people even say they sometimes don't even watch the trailers.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Like I
sometimes just don't
said,
even care. Yeah.
I think like I'm shooting now for maybe like 90 seconds, maybe for the next Ace one. Because I just think anything more than that's too much. Like I said, I've literally sat on streams where I'm like, oh, now we gotta play my trailer again. We're going 2.5 minutes, stretch
Yeah, to
out and
me,
stuff.
like
Like,
a
and they're
minute
awesome.
is
I love them, absolutely love them. But this just like even after a while, even I'm like,
yeah. To
no,
me, like a minute is kind of a good length. Like, you don't want it too much longer than that. 'Cause like you just said, after a while, even no matter what, you're just like, okay, I gotta watch it again. I love it, but I gotta watch it again.
yeah,
So yeah, I mean, I feel you. I understand where you're coming from. I like that one. It shows some artwork. It doesn't. That's the other thing. Like, the Ace trailers are dope. Like, I've seen some amazing. Like, Matt Barr has a really cool Rock and Roll Ninja trailer. We have Frog G has an animated trailer. Pedro does great animated trailers for a lot of people. They're fun, but after so long, it's just like, okay, people do have to watch it. They're gonna have to watch it a lot. And even still, some people just don't even care. They just want the book, and I understand. That's fine. I'm not mad at them. So yeah. So you touched on it briefly. So you want to go a little more in? First off, how did you hook? Like, you met him through Phil from the Lost Pages, like
yep,
because you hang out. You and Phil, you're on the hardline quite often.
yep.
Is that kind of what got?
Yeah, like I've seen some of actually own some of Avery's Lost Pages, the People stories. I think the first short story he did for the supplemental. I actually
Oh,
own a couple of
nice.
the pages, and I was looking for an artist for this Viking story. I wanted to do something different. I wanted the art to look different and stuff. So I was thinking
So
like I
wacky.
need somebody who's really kind of like got a different style. And well, like I said, one night I was thinking and I was looking at the art on my wall and I was thinking like I saw Avery's page and it just stuck out to me. I'm like, well, I wonder how his style would fit Vikings. So I just reached out to him, just be like, hey, are you free? Like, I have this idea. Like, what do you think? He's like, yeah, man, sounds good. I like Vikings. And then he sent me like a character sheet of just kind of like the upper half of a bunch of the Vikings, and they were just amazing. Like just like it blew me away. I was like, man, if he can do this with just like a character sheet, like when
Right.
he gets to the pages, he's gonna kill this. So that's when I knew I was
Nice.
like, all right, he's on board. Let's do this your story.
And
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 he
yeah,
just
dude,
blew it away.
he does some killer Viking stuff. He does some
It's
good work in this for
fantastic work,
sure.
man. Just
Yeah. So all right. So like I said, you brushed on it briefly, but tell us more. Tell us more about Raid of the White Leopard.
yeah. So basically, this is two interconnected stories. The first is about a band of Viking raiders who are returning home after a successful raid, and then this big storm pops up, and they end up getting washed up on an island. And the island has a lot of mystery to it. It's not they're not just washing up on like some regular island. That's kind of plays to the twist of the first short story. And then the second half basically introduces you to a lot of the inhabitants of the island, and you get to meet the White Leopard, and you kind of find out more about him, some of his mystery, and you kind of see how the story starts to come together. I envision this as like a three-part story arc. Basically this is the beginning. The second book is the where the main conflict happens, and then the third is basically the wind down. So basically, kind of setting up this story here with the White Leopard and the Vikings, and it's gonna be a lot of mystery, a lot of twists and turns, a lot of violence. It's bloody. It's got some fantastic art. Like Avery really, he every time he gave me a new page, it just blew me away. And I
And,
think people are gonna be blown away when they get this book.
and is this gonna stay black and white?
Yeah, Avery actually does
Nice.
colors. He's
Yeah.
a good colorist, but when he sent me the first 2 or 3 pages and they had just had the gray tones, I was like, "This is the book right here. Like, I don't want to touch this." Like, you
No,
see, like
it's
the second page there with Arik, talking about the gods have a sense of humor right there. Like that
right
one.
there.
When I saw that one, I was like, "This is the book right here." Like the
Yeah,
way
dude.
he just killed this.
Yeah, dude. I mean, everything. Yeah, this page is sick. Like, I even use this for my backdrop. The
Yeah,
him
that's
down
just
here. It's he killed it, man. Home, you picked a perfect artist for this. This is how you do black and white. Like, this is perfect. Like, you can color this. Like, you
yeah,
can. It would
yeah,
lose a little bit of it though. It would lose. It would lose something. And
yeah.
I like that you chose to go.
I love how it just sets the atmosphere, the rain and everything. It's just like this is
It's
how it's supposed to be.
yeah.
Sometimes you see it on the page and you're like, this like when I saw uh Ace get colored, like I thought like that's Ace, like the book came to life to me when I got
Mm-hmm.
the colors for it. But this came to life here, like when I got these gray tones and stuff. I was like, this is the book, man.
So you didn't initially envision it as like a black and white book, but once you saw it, you were like, yes.
Yeah, because like I said, I knew Avery did colors, so
Right.
there was always like an idea. Maybe I thought, all right, maybe I'll do the short story in black and white, and then I'll get when I do the first book, I'll do it colored. But like I said to me, like once I got the full short story done, it was like it didn't need anything to me. It was like it got lettered and that's it. It was good to go. Like I just couldn't imagine doing anything else to it.
So the way you wrote it was like you said, it's in first was published and the first part of it came out on a Wednesday. So it's like you wrote it in two halves. So the two halves, do they conform as one, or are they two totally separate chapters in this
Oh
book?
no, they combine. Like you kind of
They
start
come
to
out.
see everything comes together. Hopefully, like I said, the last panel of the Viking story kind of leads to like the White Leopard pages and stuff like that. You start to get like an idea of the bigger story that comes together. Like I said, it does have mystery to it. It's got surprises, as you can see there. Like a lot of people have asked me a lot of questions about like, oh, that looks like technology. That looks like you have pirates in this. I'm like, yeah, I know. Like,
Why
yeah,
not?
yeah, it'll start
Why
making
not?
sense. Like I
Yeah.
said, we're kind of
You
putting a lot of different things on this, but yeah,
you
we'll start
you,
bringing it together.
you got to back it to find out why.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
part of the mystery, the
So
fun of it.
tell me about the main character. Is this cat here the main character, the one with the that I used for the backdrop?
Yep, that's Arik. He's basically you see the Viking story basically through his eyes, and then the second story is basically you see it mostly through the White Leopard's eyes. So it's these two
Oh,
kind of
nice.
characters. You kind of that's going to be the
Oh,
main
nice
thing about
juxtaposition.
it.
I
Yeah.
like it. It's a nice juxtaposition, man. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I like it. I
No,
like
you're
it.
good.
Yeah. Yeah. So you see it through both their lenses, so to speak.
Mhm.
So can you tell us anything about the white leopard? Like, do they have powers? Like, what?
I mean, he's a little bit inspired by Black Panther in some ways. He's not a superhero. You kind of get to see what his role is. I do answer the question like what his purpose is and stuff, and kind of some of his background. You get to see him in action, see what he can do. So you do get some answers, like I said, but it'll start to kind of unwind more as each issue goes on. We start kind of pulling back the layers a bit. This is just kind of like the little intro piece to kind of get you hooked.
Did you say how many books you have planned for this?
Yeah, it's 3 books, so
Books.
they'll be about the same length-ish. So like I said, I wanted like a beginning, a middle, and an end. I didn't want anything more than kind of like this. See it as basically basically to me, this is an HBO kind of miniseries, like they
Right.
just put out these cool miniseries in 3 parts, and then that's the story right there. There's nothing else that needs to be said. So that's kind of what I'm going for in this one.
Nice. And did my brain is like mush, but you may have answered this already. What made you want to do a Viking book? Because Ace is so different. So what made you come up with this type of a story, so to speak, with this story itself?
Like I said, I wanted to just do something different. Like I said, I'm a big fan of Vikings. So the idea of like doing a Viking story with a twist, that's basically what I kept thinking about. Like, how can I tell a Viking story, but it has a little twist at the end? So basically the twist is the hook. So you read the story like, oh, this is cool. Then you see the last panel and you go, oh, wait a minute.
That's how you
Now I
want
want to see more.
That's how you want to leave it.
So that's the idea. Like you get that first hook in, and then you can tell like the bigger story. So like I said, like as much as I would love to tell like a traditional Viking story, that kind of requires a different kind of thing. I like superheroes. I like, there's some mysticism here. There's some, there's lots of different things in play. So I was able to add these little things to the story to kind of make it bigger and kind of do something that I'd want to read. So the little twist is the fun part, and then it kind of can expand from there.
Nice. And tell me about this.
Oh yeah, this is the first special. This is by the great Boob Dan. He did this piece for me a long time ago, and I finally was able to get it colored up and get it ready for this campaign. So at $3,000, this will be unlocked for all backers. It's going to be a beautiful poster piece. It'll have nothing on it. It'll be just this glorious art here that you can hang on your wall and enjoy. Of Alga, she's the lone Viking survivor. She plays a bigger role in book 2. But you do see her. She has a couple of panels and stuff, so she makes her presence known. And she has a great look to her. And like I said, I love this piece. Dan just completely killed it, and I'm glad we're finally getting to see it.
You can't go wrong with a Dan Plagle. Like Dan Plagle is the most underrated artist in indie comics and CG.
Love his style.
So he's so good.
So good.
It's ridiculous. Who colored it?
This is Marcos Martins.
Nice. He did a fantastic job.
Yeah. Once I saw that, I'm like, this is beautiful.
Plagle stuff is usually gray toned, and to tackle it and turn it in, like he knocked it out of the park, man. I'm used to seeing Billy's colors, and tell you what, he can. Billy, you got some competition, my friend, because he killed it, man. Beautiful Dan Plagle piece there, and you got to back the book though to get it up to 3K. Everybody, to get that goodiness, and we're gonna go over the tiers real quick. You'll have to excuse my blindness and help me out here, buddy. What's the first
PDF right there?
All right, nice.
Yeah, so that's $12. Then you have the book, which is $15.
And the book's 20 something pages.
20 pages. Yeah, 20 pages.
Nice.
So that's 15, 5 US shipping.
Not bad.
We came up with a special Canadian tier for a backer that wanted to back the book. So you could use either option. It's just something to kind of fix a little bug that was going on for a little bit. So we got that cleared up. Yep.
Okay, they fixed the bug.
Yeah. But
Nice.
I wanted to make that's the easy way to do it. Just create.
You had to work around. Yeah, you had an easy way to go about it. Nice. And this is here?
2 book, yep. So 25 for both plus shipping. So if you got a buddy and stuff, you can go half on that. And
Yeah,
then
that's a good way to go. You got some sold out tiers, I see.
yep, we did a bunch of sketch card bundles. Basically, we have a sketch card and the book. We had one by Brandon Diaz, Shelby Robertson, Joe Ball,
Oh,
Sim.
nice.
Well, most of them are sold out. There's two left. One by Avery, who did the White Leopard and sketch card, and then one by Michael Beacon, who did one of Auric. So you can
Ooh,
get those on the
Michael
campaign
Beacon's
still.
good. Yeah, Michael Beacon's
And
good.
yeah, and like I said, Avery, if you're a fan of his work, you can grab that sketch card by Avery and
He's good,
get
man.
a little piece of art.
That's a good get.
Beautiful.
That's a good
Yeah.
get. And he mainly works. Does he mainly work digital?
No, he does traditional, and then he does a lot of the gray tones and the zipper tones and all that. That's digital.
Right, right. Mixed media. He does mixed media.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. And let's see what we got here. What's this
Then
one?
we have some original art pages, as you can see. There have the first 7 Viking pages. I think there's 4
Nice.
left. So if you're a fan of what Avery does, man, I think it's pretty reasonable
that,
for the type of art that he does.
Is that first come first serve?
Yep.
Like you get to pick.
Yep. I'll send I'll send the PDF to people, and they can start kind of going through it.
Yeah, so we want to get it, people, before people snag up all the good ones. Well, they're all good, but you want like the people want the splash pages and the action sequences, and yeah. So get, there you go, dude. See, I like that. Like it's a straightforward campaign. Like you have the sketch cards, you have original art, and you have the books. And a PDF, like straightforward, bare. Like it's not bare bones because you have enough tiers there to entice everybody. You have a high end tier, plus you have the regular low end tiers. I love that in a campaign. Nothing, like I said, nothing wrong with like the 8,000 different like tiers, and you could get like the mugs and the shirts and all blah blah blah. I like it when it's like this. Now, Fund My Comic, they don't have add-ons yet, right?
No.
Yeah, so I think maybe they will one day. I don't know, because I do know people do like to customize their campaigns sometimes. So
Definitely. There's a lot of work being put into that. Like they're listening to a lot of the feedback and stuff from people. So you as the actual site grows, you'll see different changes. Even already, I've seen changes from when it launched. So like I said, they're still working on it. And like I said, the more people we can get backing books, the more campaigns and creators that launch on there and get more eyeballs, the more changes and stuff will come. So
yeah, I mean, and it's like we said earlier, it's in the beta test, and it's still got, and this stuff takes time and money, so it's not like he can implement these changes right away. And like I said, add-ons, people love them. It might be even months on end before he can get to something like that, maybe because it costs time and money. It's coding, it's hours. So what Luke Stone is doing over at Fund My Comic is it's an endeavor, and it's a lot to take on, and he's doing a great job. And one way to help him out is by backing Raid of the White Leopard, believe it or not. Why? Because they do get like Indiegogo gets 5 or 6% or something. They take less of a cut. I don't know how much it is, and I'm not going to say.
3%.
They take how much?
3%.
Oh, there you go. He's taking even less. So back Raid of the White Leopard twice. All right. That way you can help Luke Stone out as well on fundmycomic.com, and you can get more. They can get more hours in and get more stuff. And this book looks dope. It looks crazy good. Edwin is a friend. He's a supporter of comics, indie comics, Comicsgate. Like he's the genuine article, and he's got great books, dude. You got great stuff, man. I've always loved your stuff. Yeah. So. Like I said before, link is pinned to the top of the chat, and it's also in the description below. If you can't back today, we understand these are trying times. If you can't back today, share the link out. Share the link out to this stream, maybe, or even just share out the link out for the Fund My Comic. Share
if you got a buddy that likes Vikings, send them the link.
Got a buddy that's like Vikings, yeah. I mean, Vikings, an awesome story and artwork. I mean, because this is sick. So. Yeah, share it out. It helps the campaign. It helps everybody, and it'll help the scene. We're trying to move forward, and we do need more eyes, and it's hard to branch out, especially doing it the way we do it. So, yeah, I love this campaign. It's fantastic, and you've been around the block a few times in a good way.
Three fulfilled campaigns, so people got their books.
And he delivers, so because you get them. And I missed out on your last one. So do you have any of those left? I hope, because
Blood Bone?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Blood
Oh,
Bone.
I'll hit you up, my
Look
friend.
at
I will
that.
hit you
Look
up.
at that.
I'll
It's
hit you up next
beautiful.
week.
I mean, that foil is just chef's
Oh, it's
kiss.
delicious. It's
Beautiful.
delicious. Much like my sugar-free Red Bull. I'll hit you up next week about that one.
Definitely.
Yeah. So everybody, back at today, like I said, pinned to the top and the bottom. If you're watching on Facebook, check it out. If you like Vikings, if you like, if you don't like comics, you like stories. Like it's still written. It's a book.
Yeah, some
It just
action,
has
some
pretty
adventure, some mystery, all that fun stuff.
excitement.
Trying to do everything out
Yes.
here. Yeah.
And at 3K, you get boobs.
Yes. And then it unlocks more. The higher we go, the more cool stuff that we'll get because I already have
Nice.
art that's been in the stash. Like I said, Boob Dan did that for me a while ago. I'm glad I finally got it to people to see it because it's one of my favorite pieces that anybody's ever done for me. I think it's beautiful. So
Yeah, Plague was a monster. He's got Goblin Girl. Check it out. We're at the top of the hour. Well, at the bottom of the hour, however you want to phrase it. Angela, you've been in and out. Do you have any questions?
I'm so sorry. Yeah, no, I was just curious. So is the book in black and white? I missed that part. Or is it going to be color eventually?
no, it's gonna be gray tones.
Gray tone? Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Awesome.
What's up, Lord Liam?
No,
Yes, everybody. Angela did her best. Her connection isn't there fully, I guess. On my so if she missed highlighting you or missed a question in the chat, I apologize as well as her. I'm blind as nobody's business, so I didn't get to read it. So you can always message Edwin and ask him.
My DMs
Follow
are
him.
open.
DMs are
no
open.
dick pics, please. No dick pics, please.
Yeah, please.
Send those to Phil. You can send those to Phil.
Phil, he'll actually put them up on a.
He'll accept them.
Phil have them rated on the hard line.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, yes.
Depends how low the viewers are. We're trying to get anything to get
Depends
some
on how
views some
low the
nights,
viewers are. Yeah. Edwin's. I always keep wanting to call you the Ace because that's how I refer to you. Because that's how I've always known you. Edwin's Twitter is in the description as well. So make sure you give him a follow. Genuine article, man. Do you have any last words, man?
Yeah, man. I just want to say, there's a lot of stuff going on right now, but just thank you to all the backers, the supporters, everybody who shared out, who's back there, who's liked, whatever, man. It's there's a lot of hard work that goes into these, and it's always appreciated when people kind of show you love. So I'm grateful for that. Just gonna keep my head down, putting out the best projects that I can. I'll keep trying to support my guys like Jason, Dan, all these guys, Luke. Love what these guys are doing, anytime I can show them love, I always appreciate them. Yeah, man, let's just keep growing. Let's keep growing this thing, man. Like, I think all the fun stuff is happening in this movement, and we just got to keep it going,
Yeah. We're having a fun time here over in CG land, in indie comics land. And like you said, without everybody in the chat and people backing these books, we wouldn't be able to do what we're doing right now. So, we salute you all. Yeah, so awesome. Everybody go follow Edwin. Angela's Twitter is in the bottom as well. You can give her a follow. She retweets all of our cool stuff too. And that's it for today. So thank you once again, everybody, for showing up. And before we go, I do have one last question, Ace. I'm gonna call you Ace. If you could work with any artist, living or dead, outside of Comicsgate, who would it be?
It's it'll probably be Will Sportatio. Honestly, I will to see him draw Angelique because I'm a huge fan of the way he drew Archangel and Psylocke. So to watch him just do like an Angelique piece for like a cover or something, I think would just be like that would just make my heart just flutter just thinking about that. That would be incredible.
Well, Wills is out there.
He is. Yeah,
it could happen.
Good. Never know. Never say never.
Never say never. If we did, we wouldn't be here today. Yeah, thank you once again, everybody, for watching. Appreciate y'all, and have a great one.
Peace.